Hello friends, welcome on Environmental Master YouTube channel. I am Engineer Rishabh Singh. We are discussing about the environmental science and engineering subject for GATE 2021, in which we are discussing about the water and wastewater engineering, out of which we have completed one chapter, that is the water demand, its conveyance and sources. Right now we are discussing about the quality parameters of water, in which the physical water quality parameter that has already been completed, which has been including the turbidity, total suspended solids, color, taste and odor and a temperature. Right now we are discussing about the chemical water quality parameter. Today is the last class for the chemical water quality parameters, because in a previous 4 classes we have discussed about the chemical water quality parameters that has been already discussed, like the TDS, alkalinity, hardness, pH, chloride content, nitrogen content, phosphorus and a fluoride. So after understanding all these, like the fluorides, phosphorus, nitrogen, right now we are at the position to go to the metals. So what are the metals which is in the chemical form, like the which interferes with the quality of water chemically, are as follows. So basically the chemical parameters of water are those which interfere with the quality parameters of water chemically. So basically there are certain metals in a water. Generally we will be discussing about the 16 water quality parameters, out of which some are the toxic in nature and some are non-toxic in nature. Toxic metals are those which causes severe toxicity, like it can cause heart failure, it can cause some like the carcinogenic impacts or some blackfoot disease, like chromium and cyanides. It is the highly poisonous. Mercury is the most poisonous elements in a periodic table. So all these are discussed here, which will be the toxic metals, in which apart from the toxic metals there are some metals which are generally non-toxic in nature. These are the sodium, iron, manganese, sulfate, calcium, zinc, aluminium, magnesium, copper and a silver. So what are the permissible limits as per IS 10500 to 2012 of these metals? What are the different sources through which the water is chemically react with these metals, so that they will interfere the chemical water quality parameters? And what are the objections or the importance of those parameters? Like these metals are generally only not causes the harmful impact of our body, but actually some of these metals are the essential ingredients for the survival of life on a human being, as well as the plants or the animals. So that is why we will be discussing about first the sodium. Sodium is a metal which does not included in a IS 10500 2012 as a permissible limit, but actually there is a EPA norm, like the water there should not be more than 20 milligram per liter, or it should not be, the human consumptions per day should not be 500 milligrams in nature. Because apart from that, because if it will be in a certain range in our body, then it is the essential ingredient for the electrolytes in our body. If there will not be a sodium in our body, or there will be a reduction in sodium below 135 limits of the sodium is there in a body, like I am talking about the hematology of the body. So if the sodium level below the 135, then that will cause certain problem, like the electrolyte imbalance in our body. That will cause the carbon dioxide levels to be rise in our body, and there should be a certain like the faintness in our body. So the person feeling the faintness in the deficiency of the electrolytes in our body. So that is why the sodium is a very essential ingredient for our body. But the problem is that its excess. if that will be in excess, then it can cause the kidney as well as heart failures. Like the sodium is the prominent cause for the cardiac arrest generally, because it can increases the blood pressure. That is why it can causes the clotting in your body, and that will cause the heart failures. Or if that will be in excess, then that will be the cause the corrosion to the metal surface, because if there will be a water which has the higher concentration of the sodium, like the sodium chloride NaCl, then that will cause the acid, that will cause generally the acidity in a water. If that will be caused as the acidity in a water, then there will be a scaling of that sodium chloride on the surface of that metal. Like if there will be a iron, then there will be a surface scaling. If there will be a surface scaling in a water, then in the presence of oxygen there will be a corrosion. So the metal surface will be corroded, like if we will use the metal pipe for the transmission of water from the distribution reservoir to our homes or the community point of view, then during this distribution channel, there will be a corrosion in the inside surface of the body, inside surface of the pipes. So that will not be a beneficial, because we cannot maintain the distribution pipe on a regular basis, because it will be used for the certain periods of design life. That is generally it is used for the 30 years for the design life. So that is why it is not easy or the beneficial to clean the inner surface of those pipes. So that is why the sodium chloride or the sodium concentration in the water is very, very important. There is also one cause, like in a large concentration it is toxic to the plants. So let's understand how it will be the toxic for the plants itself, because right now we will discussing about if there will be in a higher concentration of sodium. If there will be a higher concentration of sodium in a water, then water will be in a soil. Like if we will use the irrigation for the plants or the trees, then there will be a sufficient quantity of water in the soil, or it should be used for the plant for their growth or the photosynthesis. But the problem is that there is a water physically present, but it will not be physiologically present for the plants. How it happens? So that is called the physiologically dry condition उसको बोलते हैं. So that condition is called the physiologically dry condition. What is that physiologically dry condition? Like there will be a salt concentration inside the plants, some amounts of salt is there, or the concentration is there. There will be some concentration outside of the plants, like there will be in a soil the concentration of salt is there. So if there will be in a higher concentration of salt is there in a water, then the water that is physically present, that water that is been physically present for the plants that should be used for their growth, that will not be available for the growth of those plants. So this is due to the osmosis phenomena, the reverse osmosis phenomena that we are familiar with that. So that condition where the water is available but will not be used by the plants for their growth, then that condition especially is called the physiologically dry condition. Okay, what are the sources are that? So sources are, there is a leaching from the rocks. There will be some rocks which has the higher concentration of sodium is there. So when the water infiltrate from these rocks and goes beneath to the water table, अगर जाकर के यहाँ water table में meet कर रहा है, then this underground water which has a higher concentration of the sodium, or if on that surface of that, if water moves and goes through the water body, there will be a water body, that is the surface water जाता है. अगर इस surface water में जा करके यहाँ से अगर meet करता है, that is the surface runoff है ये SR. So if in a surface runoff, if that water goes to the on the surface of those rocks or the soils or the and goes to the surface water, then that will cause the increased level of sodium in those water. One more thing, that there will be an industrial waste discharge, like there will be a there is some industry which uses the sodium chloride, or there will be a higher concentration of sodium, like the fertilizer industries and the sanitary cleaner. So in that industry, the concentration of sodium in a water is higher, or their waste is the concentration of sodium is higher. If those waste they will discharge in the community sewer or general sewer, that will cause the increased level of sodium in the water. One more is the sanitary cleaners. So sanitary cleaners that will be used, like the sodium chloride we will use in a sanitary cleaner along with the other acids. So that if that will be discharged in a water, then that will cause increased level of sodium in the water body. Then sodium is used for the production of the neon lights. And one more thing, the seawater intrusion. If there will be a higher concentration, if there will be a if the seawater intrusion will be in a seawater intrusion in water body, then that will cause the increased level of sodium. Next, we will discuss about the iron. So there will be a permissible limit for iron, that is the 0.3 milligram per liter, and there should not be any relaxation. So in any case, we should not permit the iron to be more than 0.3 milligram per liter in a water. But generally, iron is an essential element for the human body. So what are the different problems with the water? So iron causes the color problem and bacteria. There will be a bacteria that will decompose the iron, or sorry, that will uses the iron or the consume iron and produce the slime growth, that will cause the color problem in the water. One more thing, that if there will be a higher concentration of iron and a manganese in a water, if that water will be in contact with the air, then there will be a precipitate of FeOH whole thrice. So this will be a precipitate, PPT. So this will be a precipitate. So that will be that we will discuss in a next class, in which we will be discussing about the aeration. जब हम लोग aeration के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, when we will be discussing about the aeration of water, then we will discuss about that how the precipitate of FeOH whole thrice will be there, how the precipitate of MnO2 will be there. So that we will be discussed. What are the different sources? Like the natural deposition, like if there will be iron in rock, if there will be iron in a rock, and under the iron there will be a water body. Sorry, water body is not there, but beneath the soil there will be a groundwater, and there will be a certain water body is there. So if there will be a water body, when water goes on the surface of that, when water percolates through the soils and meet the groundwater, then this water has directly in contact with these rocks or these rocks. So that causes the dissolution of the iron in this water, and the groundwater will be higher concentration of the higher concentration of iron in that. So one more thing is that as we know that underground water there will be a deficit of dissolved oxygen. So this iron which is in a groundwater is there, but if that water will be pumped out through wells and goes on a surface, and we will causes the aeration in a water, then there will be a precipitate of FeOH whole rise. If that will goes through a surface water sources or the surface runoff in the water body, then there will be a concentration of iron is there, but on a water body there will be a surface currents. So due to the surface currents, there will be a increased level of dissolved oxygen on the surface of a water body. So if there will be on a surface water source, then there will be a wind blowing, and there will be upwelling, downwelling, and the water has the higher concentration of iron and a manganese, then that will causes the precipitate of FeOH whole rise and MnO2 in the water. So the problem of iron and a manganese which will not be occur in a surface water, it will generally occur in a groundwater. So same condition will be for the manganese is there. So it causes the color problem. Bacteria consumes the manganese and produces the slime growth and produces taste and odor. The sources of that is there, like the sources of that is it will naturally occurring rocks रहेगा, then with soil, and manufacturing of iron. So manganese will be used for the manufacturing of iron. So there will be a higher concentration of manganese if the waste will be discharged from these industries. Steel alloys, batteries, glass, fireworks, varnish, fertilizer and fungicide. So in all these the manganese will be used, then the same concept will be followed, and the precipitate of MnO2, manganese dioxide, will be there of the PPT precipitate. The permissible limit for manganese is 0.1 milligram per liter, and a cost for rejection limit is 0.3 milligram per liter. So after understanding the sodium, iron and a manganese, we will be discussing about the copper in a water. So the source of copper is generally the rocks which contains the copper. So that is called the CuFeS2, CuFeS2. That is called the chalcopyrite. There will be a chalcopyrite of the ore of the copper, and we will do the mining is there, then and there will be a soil there, so the water if goes through these and meets the groundwater, or the water on the surface of that goes to the surface water sources, then that will cause the problem of copper in a water. So that will cause the increased level of copper in a water, and it affects the lungs, respiratory organs. And one more thing is that the copper should be the source of copper is also the waste from the copper smelter and the corrosion of copper pipe. If there will be a copper pipe we will use for the transmission of water or the distribution of water, so the inner surface of that water, if causes the corrosion inside the copper pipe, then that will cause the after the treatment the intrusion of copper in a water. So that will cause the increased level of copper to the community point. One more thing, that if the CuSO4 is more than 250 milligram per liter, it causes the laxative effect. So this is generally not with the copper, this is generally with the copper sulfate. If that level will be more than 250 milligram per liter, then that will cause the laxative effect. One more thing we will be discussing about that, if at place there will be a surface sulfate is there, then that will causes the problem for the concrete pipes, as there will be a ettringite formation that will cause the sulfate attack in a concrete. The permissible limit for copper is 0.05 milligram per liter, and it causes the cause for rejection if there will be a concentration is 1.5 milligram per liter. One more thing, iron is an essential, iron and manganese is also the essential element for our body. In the absence of iron, if there will be a lower concentration of iron in body, or the deficit of iron deficiency will be in a body, then the hemoglobin in the body will also reduce. If the hemoglobin of the body is reduced, then the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood is also reduced. So that if the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood is reduced, then there will be a higher concentration of carbon dioxide. So that will cause the faintness in our body, and even if in higher concentration, it will cause the COPD and death. So the iron is in a lower concentration is very, very essential for our body, for the growth, general working for our body. So after understanding the copper, we will next move to the calcium, that is the non-toxic metal. Calcium has the permissible limit of 75 mg per liter in a water, and a cause for rejection is 200 mg per liter. The source of calcium in a water is a discharge from cement industries, gypsum, that is the CuSO4 half H2O, plaster of Paris industries, and a construction sites. There will also a dissolve from the rock such as the limestone, marble, calcite, dolomite, gypsum, fluorite, apatite, and this is used for the zirconium and thorium production. So the waste discharge from these industries will cause the elevated level of calcium in the water. So there will be some problems in the water, that main constituents, actually the calcium is the main constituents of bones. So it will require for the growth of bones. In the absence of calcium, if there will be a lower calcium in a body, then that will cause the lower bone density. That disease is called the osteoporosis. Also, the calcium phosphide is very toxic to the aquatic organism. Like there will be a phosphate, that will the limiting nutrient, so it will increases the growth of aquatic organisms and causes the reduction in the biodiversity in the water. That has been discussed in a previous video where we are discussing about the nutrients in a water. Then there will be a sulfate. Sulfate has a limit of 200 mg per liter, and the cause for rejection is 400 mg per liter. The source of sulfate in a water, that is the dissolution of gypsum, then gypsum and anhydrite leach out from the soil when groundwater and surface water move through. There will be some problems with the sulfate in a water, that the sulfate is generally required for the human body as it is the part of amino acid methionine, but it has some neurological effects and behavioral changes. It is also a laxative effect and causes the sulfate attack in a concrete pad. As being a civil engineer, if there will be if the water pass through if the water has a higher concentration of sulfate, and that will pass through the pipes, or there will be a pass through a concrete structure, then after combining with the concrete chemicals, it will cause, like the halite, belite, salite, then it will cause the sulfate attack by making the certain compounds named the ytterngite. The compound name is ytterngite. Then the next is zinc. Zinc is actually the part of the essential nutrient for the body. So this is required for the body. So the limit is 5 mg per liter. Up to 5 mg per liter in a water is there will not be a problem, but the more than 15 mg per liter, this is the limit for the cause for rejection. Then next will be the sources. So naturally occurring in a various food, the zinc is naturally occurring in a various foods, industrial waste, stuffs, and there will be a industrial waste is there, like the mining industry, coal, steel processing, and a waste combustion. There will be a industries name where we process the zinc. So the waste from those industry cause the higher elevation in the concentration of zinc in a water. The problem is that the zinc shortage can cause the birth defects, stomach cramps, skin irritation, vomiting, anemia, respiratory disorders. There will be a problem in a pancreas. Then there will be a protein metabolism problems. Then it can cause the problem for bioaccumulation and biomagnification in organism. What is the bioaccumulation and biomagnification? If there will be a rock or the soil, if there will be a soil, if in that soil there will be a zinc or any metals will be there. Like in this soil, if there will be a soil, इस सॉइल में कोई भी एक मेटल है, here is a metal, मेटल है या एनी सब्सटेंस है, there will be a, if there will be a plants, so if there will be a plant species, it can uptake the nutrients from the metals, it can uptake the nutrient from the soil. So if there will be a accumulation, if there will be a accumulation, if there will be a accumulation, if there will be an accumulation of metals in this plant itself, then that is called the bioaccumulation. But if the organism in a higher food chain like the goat and cows, they will consume that plant and that metal will pass through from this plants to the other organism of higher trophic level. Like there will be an organism, like generally the plant is a producer and organisms are the consumers. So from the lower trophic level to the higher trophic level, if the transfer of these metals take place, then that will called the biomagnification. So here is the problem of zinc, in which there will be a problem of bioaccumulation as well as the biomagnifications in a plant, and there will be a organisms itself. So we have understood about the concept of bioaccumulation as well as the biomagnifications. Then after understanding these, we will next move through the other non-toxic metals like the aluminium. We will discuss the toxic metals itself after some time. So let's first discuss about the aluminium. Aluminium is a non-toxic metal. So the aluminium has the limit 0.03 milligram per liter, and cost for rejection is 0.2 milligram per liter. The source is mineral weathering of feldspar, aluminium waste, then the mining, and there will be aluminium salts used for phosphate precipitations. Aluminium salts are also used in alums like that will be used in a sedimentation of water and a wastewater, where it can be used as a coagulants like the alum. There will be objections with the aluminium, or it will negatively affect the aquatic and a terrestrial life. It has the impact on spleen, kidney, lungs, and causes the allergies. Then the next metal is the magnesium. Magnesium has the limit of 30 milligram per liter, and cost for rejection is 200 milligram per liter. There will be a source is seawater intrusion, dissolved in a water due to the various minerals, washout from rocks, chemicals, and a plastic industries. It is also come through the beer distilleries, where it is used for the manufacturing of beer and beverages. It is also discharged in a water with the wastewater treatment plants. or there will be a wastewater intrusion in a water that will cause the increased level of magnesium in a water. What is the problems with the magnesium? Magnesium produces the hardness to the water and responsible for the membrane function of nerve stimulants, muscle contraction, causes DNA replication, and it will also cause the vomiting, diarrhea, depression and personality changes, as well as it can cause the nervous system problems. Although these problems are generally not happen if the concentration is very high, or if the person is directly in contact with the magnesium and there will be a very high concentration of magnesium, then these kinds of problems like the DNA replication, nervous system failures will be takes place. In general, if the lower concentration, there will be a vomiting and a diarrhea. That is why magnesium is not the toxic minerals, toxic metals. Next non-toxic is silver. Silver has the limit of 0.1 milligram per liter, and the cause for rejection is no relaxation there. So that is why it will also the 0.1 milligram per liter. In any case, it will not increase above the 0.1 milligram per liter. So what is the source of aluminum? Oh, silver. So silver is used in the battery production industry. Coloring agents for the food stuffs like silver work will be taken on the different types of sweets के ऊपर जो silver की work रहती है. Then it is also used to make the preservative and disinfectants. Byproducts of metal refineries, utensils manufacturing industries, and leach out from the argentite rocks. It will causes the problem to the, it will lethal to the bacteria, inhibited the fungi production. Then the bioaccumulation and biomagnification problem that has been discussed here. This is also called the problems of skin and eye problems. Then the silver nitrate is much harmful, AgNO3. Then the strong oxidant causes the corrosion, and at oral uptake it can cause the vomiting and the dizziness and cause the diarrhea. So we have discussed all the non-toxic metals like the sodium, iron, manganese, sulfate, calcium, zinc, aluminium, magnesium, copper and a silver. Right now we will move to the toxic minerals like the arsenic, cadmium, chromium, cyanide, lead and mercury. So there will be a arsenic. Arsenic is a toxic mineral, very toxic. It can cause the black foot disease, that is the problem of foot veins. The limit is 0.1 milligram per liter and a cause for rejection is 0.05 milligram per liter. The source is glass manufacture industries, microchip industries. It can also the problem in a soil and a water through the leach out. There will be some zones in which the higher concentration of arsenic will be there, so that will cause the problem. Skin contact with the arsenic water से रहेगा. Then arsenic containing pesticides will be there, through which the water if came in contact, then that will cause the higher concentration of arsenic. What is the problem with arsenic? Arsenic causes the nerve injuries, stomach aches, then cause the inorganic. Arsenic is very dangerous as it causes the genetic structure of feces, changes the genetic structure of feces. It can cause the problem of bioaccumulation and biomagnification and cause the various causes of cancers like the skin cancer, bladder cancer, kidney and a lung cancer. So that is why the arsenic is very toxic. Generally the next is a cadmium. So generally the cadmium is also the very toxic. So that is why it has the very stringent limit 0.003 milligram per liter, and there will not be any relaxation because we cannot take the chance for the higher concentration of cadmium that will cause the disease Itai in Japan in 1912, which is the problem is there will be stomach cramps and other problems will be there. So there will be sources of cadmium in a water like the plants. There will be a soil, then industrial effluents, then it is also used in a electroplating industry and a cadmium paints and used in nickel cadmium batteries. So these are basically the sources of cadmium in a water. If the water is coming from these industries or waste, then that will cause the higher increases concentration of cadmium in a water. There will also a problem of Itai disease. It will used in a softening of bones, like this problem is called the osteoporosis, and causes the kidney failure and carcinogenic of group 1. It can also cause the flu-like symptoms and tracheobronchitis, pulmonary edema and pneumonia, and it will causes the gout and arthritis also. So that is why the cadmium is very, very toxic in nature, causes the various problems in water, or the various problems to the humans as well as the plants itself. Then there will also be a chromium. So chromium that will be in two forms. First one is a hexavalent, like the chromium 6, hexavalent chromium, that is chromium 6, and there will be a chromium 3. There will be a hexavalent chromium and a chromium 3, a trivalent chromium. So the hexavalent chromium is very, very toxic. It can cause the problems. So our aim is not to remove the chromium. If we will reduce the chromium from the chromium 6 to chromium 3, then that will not be a problem in our water. Higher problem नहीं रहेगा, higher concentration उसका भी higher रहेगा. Then the limit is chromium for 0.05 milligram per liter, and there will not be any relaxation for that. The sources of chromium in a water, when the water came from electroplating industries, leather industries, tanning, textile industries, chromium mines, leach out from topsoil, fungicides, ceramics, glass industries, chromium uptake by plants and causes the biomagnification. So through these sources the chromium in a water takes place. The problem with the chromium is it will absorb in our lungs, causes the gastrointestinal tract diseases. It is also the carcinogenic in nature. Acute and renal failure, like the kidney failure, will be takes place. Acute tubular necrosis and several effects on a liver, and it will also cause the cardiovascular diseases and the hepatic diseases like the liver diseases. So that is why the chromium is also very toxic in nature. So after understanding the chromium, we will next move to the cyanide. So the cyanide will be a limit of 0.05 milligram per liter, and there will not be a relaxation because the cyanide is very toxic in nature. We cannot take the chances. There will be a sources of like the industrial processes, metal mining in processing, then the organic chemicals industries, then the iron, steel production. There will be a manufacturing of the wastewater discharge, chemical industries, cyanide coating pesticides, and a water absorbed cyanide from the air during the rainfall. There will be a concentration of cyanide in air also. When there will be a rainfall, then through the medium of air, when the water will come in contact with that cyanide, then that cyanide will be dissolved in a water and came to the earth surface. That will goes to the lakes, plants, lakes, rivers. So that will increases the concentration of cyanide in a water. The problem is cyanide is that it is very, very poisonous, short-term harm to the brain, heart, and cause the coma and a death. It can cause the shortness of breath, vomiting, enlarged thyroid glands, and causes birth defects in children and causes harm to the reproductive system itself. The next metal is lead. Lead is actually the neurotoxic in nature. It is used in a battery production, or there was in India and other countries also. In a petrol and a diesel, there will be a lead in there was a lead in a petrol and diesel and other types of fuels. But from 2005 in India, that the use of lead in a petrol and a diesel has been prohibited. So that is why right now this is not the problem, but there was a lead and other problems in a fuel itself. So the limit is 0.01 milligram per liter, and there will be no relaxation. Then The sources are mining, smelters, manufacturing and recycling activities, lead acid batteries, effluents, and leaded paints and gasoline and soldering. Actually, in a soldering, when we will use there will be a substance that contains the lead, so that will cause the problems of lead poisoning. The person who is directly contact in a battery production industries, or there will be a electroplating industry, there will be a soldering operations will be there, so that will cause the neurological changes, and also there will be a problems of damage to the brain damage, kidney, liver, bone damage to the and a central nervous system problem, and hypertension and a renal impairment is there. उसको द पर्सन वो डायरेक्टली कॉन्टेक्ट, जो पर्सन उससे डायरेक्टली कॉन्टेक्ट में रहता है लेड के ड्यूरिंग द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रोप्लेट्स वगैरह बैटरीज के मैन्युफैक्चर में, तो दैट पर्सन, उस पर्सन के प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है, देयर विल बी अ प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ ब्रेन फेलियर्स, न्यूरोटॉक्सिंग एंड सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम में चेंजेस हो जाते हैं, तो दैट विल इवन कॉज टू द डेथ, और देयर विल बी अ फेंटनेस आफ्टर कॉन्टेक्टिंग इन अ lead. The last one is the mercury. So mercury is also very toxic, very toxic. It has so that is why the limit is 0.001 milligram per liter, and there will not be any relaxation. Mercury is generally used in pressure measurement devices like the stethoscope and stethoscope. Not the stethoscope. The mercury will be used is the sphygmomanometer, through which we will use the blood pressure. It will also used in a medical equipment like the mercury based thermometer. Right now we are changing ourselves to not using the mercury thermometer. That is why there will be a electronic thermometer through which we will not use the mercury. So the pressure measurement devices leaching out from the various rocks, industrial discharges and feces. There will be some feces which contains the mercury. When that feces will be taken up by the larger feces, then the mercury will be transferred from those feces to the larger feces, causes the biomagnification. And if that larger feces will be taken up by the humans itself, then that mercury from these feces will come to the at the higher food chain, at the higher trophic levels, and causes the mercury pollutions and causes the various problems in a humans itself. So that is why it is the problem of mercury in a water, increases the concentration of mercury in a water. Mercury is the most toxic element. Actually, the mercury is also the most toxic element of periodic table also. It can harm to the brain, heart, kidney, liver, lungs, immune system, and causes damage to the central nervous system of children, and causes the problem of biomagnification in a food chain. So that is why we will not permit to the mercury more than 0.001 milligram per liter. So that is so through which we have discussed about the metals in a water. So metals have been we have discussed the 16th metals, out of which there was some toxic metals like the arsenic, cadmium, chromium, cyanide, lead and mercury, and there was also some non-toxic metals like the sodium, iron, manganese, sulfate, calcium, zinc, aluminium, magnesium, copper and silver. So through which we have discussed under the water and wastewater engineering. In the second portion we have discussed about the physical parameters. In which we have discussed about the total suspended solids, turbidity, color, odor, temperature. So we have discussed these 5 parameters under the physical water quality parameter that has been completed. Today we have completed the chemical water quality parameter like the total dissolved solids, alkalinity, hardness, pH, chloride content, nitrogen content, phosphorus, fluoride as well as metals. Metals has also been discussed in this video. Next portion is a biological water quality parameters. In a biological parameter we will discuss about the MPN. In a next video we will discuss about that. There will be a coliform, So in the next video we will discuss about the biological water quality parameters, in which we will discuss about the MPN, most probable number, coliform, how we will use the coliform as the indicator, how will you use the MPN concentration in water, there what is the Thompson's table, Thompson's index किस तरीके से निकालते हैं. So all this will be discussed in a next video. So thank you very much. Study करते रहिए. The GATE 2021 have the 5 months nearly, so kindly be prepared for that. Kindly revise all these things. Thank you very much. Kindly like, share and subscribe my video to get the latest updates of my videos. When I will upload the latest video, then that will be notified to you. So thank you very much.